I'm a multi-millionaire now because I continually predict the economy right.
Do you think you have an overall economic theory that's driving that decision? Or is it your hunch of thinking, well, we can determine the future of the economy on that basis, on a sort of assessment?
Why do you think banks pay people like me £2 million a year? Okay, let's be clear about what's happening here, okay? I've got one economics degree from the LSE, one economics degree from Oxford. We never once mentioned distribution. I started work as an interest rates trader in 2008. Everybody predicted rates would go up in 2009. They were wrong. In 2010, they were wrong. In 2011, they were wrong. In 2012, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, they were wrong. In 2020, everybody finally agreed interest rates and inflation would never go up again, and interest rates went to 7%, okay? It's very, very clear we're bad at this. It's very, very clear we are bad at this. Now, I want to put you in the position of a 21-year-old economics graduate from an elite university with very, very, very good grades, okay? From a poor background. This was me, right? I walk into my professor's office, he says, stay here, do a master's, you've got very good grades, okay? What are my options here? I stay in academia and then I can work in policy, I can work for government. I'd have to do a master's, a PhD, 3 or 4 years, postdoc. I'll have to work as an intern for like 3 or 4 years, making no money. Maybe 15 years down the line, I'll make some money. Or you can go into the city like I did, and I was a multimillionaire at 25, okay? Kids from poor backgrounds cannot afford to work in academia. They cannot afford to work in policy. I could not name you a single successful policy wonk, economics government minister, economist from a poor background. Every single year I was a professional trader, the most successful trader at the bank was from a working class background. This is what we've created. We've created a system which obviously takes all the good economists and said, we are going to fill your mouth with money if you shut the fuck up.
Let me give you an analogy. So when I launched YouGov in 2000, the industry then was led by Sir Bob Worcester, then Lord Worcester of Mori, and he had convinced the whole world that what polling was about was scientific measurement of human behavior. We came along, the internet begun, and we said, actually, that is a big lie, right? No polling is based on scientific measurement, right? We are all in the business of modeling. That doesn't mean we need to counsel institutions like the OBR. I think it's still worthy to be able to build models, and for decision makers, when I was in the Treasury, I need information. I need to be able to look at that and then make a judgment, hold risk, right? And get comfortable holding risk. And the one thing you've got to get comfortable with is you will not get every decision right.
Gary, are you comfortable with a sort of consensus from different points of view here that we don't have an economic theory and in principle we can't have one that is accurate and precise? You comfortable with that?
I've spent a lot of my life having very rich people tell me it's impossible to predict the economy. I've done a pretty good job of it. I'm a multi-millionaire now. I grew up very, very poor because I continually predict the economy right.
Do you think you have an overall economic theory that's driving that decision? Or is it your hunch of thinking, well, I just got a sense of what's going on and we can determine the future of the economy on that basis, on a sort of assessment?
Why do you think banks pay people like me £2 million a year?
I don't know, you tell me.
Because we've got a very good long-term track record of making correct predictions. Listen, economics is not a physical science. We can't do experiments. So how do we know who's good and who's bad? Well, the banks have got an idea that what you do is you look for people who consistently make correct predictions when other people don't. And they pay those people a ton of money. And listen, I want to tell you a quick story, okay? When I was just finished working in the city, I went back to university, I did a master at Oxford, 2017, 2019. We had a lesson on interest rates. I went up to the professor afterwards and I said, why do you think we've been so bad at predicting interest rates for so long? At that point, we'd incorrectly predicted interest rate rises 11 years in a row. He said, no, we always knew rates would stay zero, which is like categorically, provably wrong. And I was shocked. And I said, no, we didn't. We kept saying they'd go up. And he was like, no, we knew. So I went back to my flat and I sent in the data, and it was like, oh yeah, we did get it wrong 11 years in a row. These guys are so bad, they are unable to know that they're bad. This is literally the situation. At the same time, you've got rooms full of people like me obsessing about what's going to happen. And we try and work out how to predict things. And the way you predict things well is you understand them well. You know, I've said it before. You have to start rewarding people for being right, punishing people for being wrong, and giving the microphone to people who are right.
Look, you do it I mean, again, I go back to polling. We do it after every general election. The pollsters through the British Polling Council will get together and try and work out what mistakes they made in their predictions. They predicted a Labour majority of 20 points. It only came in at just shy of 10. And I think humble enough to know that we're in the business of modelling, not scientific measurement, right? To be able to build better models, I hope, for the future. But the one other thing that I think did fuel inflation is obviously the